guys to understand that serving faithfully, I think we should always put in the back of our minds and in everything we do to serve faithfully and stay within that faith. All right. So the word of this week is faithfully. So today is the 8th of the 4th, as we know. This month we are celebrating Earth Month. So again, plant a tree, do something nice, take a walk in the park. So this week is Earth Month. I want to say happy belated birthday to Luan Kisun. Happy belated birthday, Lulu. Happy belated birthday to my nephew, Daniel. Happy belated birthday. And happy belated birthday to my friend Nicole Babulal. Happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated birthday to Rian Tanis or Ramden. Happy belated birthday to all who's celebrating a birthday today. Again, I want to say happy birthday and happy belated birthday to all. So I just have a quick health tip for you guys. And later on, I am going to bring on Carl Hypo, if I'm pronouncing it right. And we're going to talk a little bit about, he has an old age facility for the elderly in Trinidad and Tobago. So later on, we will be bringing him on and we're going to talk about how we can treat and we can better care for the elderly. I think we sometimes tend to forget them. So we'll get into that in a little bit, right? Some announcement. My annual swag event is on June the 15th. Tickets are $65 in advance. Food inclusive. You're going to have a cash bar. I have physical tickets. You can also go to Frontline and get your tickets. So frontline.com and purchase your ticket. All right. If you want pre-bottle orders, hit me up for your pre-bottle orders. Save the date. I have Barbecue Blessing coming up. That will be in August 24th. That will be $50 with a bottle, food inclusive, and it will be our 20th anniversary. And the theme for that one will be Western. And also stay tuned for October the 5th. We are going to observe the breast cancer month. And we're going to have a fashion show with light refreshment. I think the price for that one is $55. So those are the 3 events we have coming up. Save the date. I'll be keep posting it on Facebook for you guys. Again, like the page, share the page. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about high blood pressure. High blood pressure, evaluate blood glucose, causes the blood vessel carrying the sugar blood to lose their elasticity, unable to stretch the vessels, construct the flow of blood, causing the heart to work harder to pump it. This leads to high blood pressure. High blood pressure and type 2 diabetes are common occurring conditions. This is true for pre-diabetes. So remember last week we were talking about pre-diabetes, so they go hand in hand. So the range of blood pressure, normal is 120 over 80. Evaluated is 120 over 129. High blood pressure tension is 130 over 139. High blood pressure, hypertension, stage 2, 140 or higher. All right? And when you're in a crisis, 140 higher. That is for the blood pressure. We also want to talk a little bit about sleep apnea. I think a lot of people suffer from this one. Sleep hygiene is incredibly important for overall health. Poor sleep has many health effects. One of this sleeping issue, obstructive sleep apnea, causes interruptions in breathing during sleep cycle. Often associated with loud snoring, sleep apnea can cause fatal respiratory arrest without treatment. OSA may be associated with glucose intolerance and insulin resistance. OS also correlates with excessive body weight, another risk factor of prediabetes. Doctors think that overweight or obesity people may be more susceptible to sleep apnea because of fatty deposit around the airways. So once again, we here, and this is my health tip for today. Now, keep in mind, we are not doctors. We are just here giving information. All right. So I'm going to bring my guest on right now. Hi. Welcome to Motivational Monday. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, good night. My name is Carl Hoipong from Trinidad.
Yes.
It's a pleasure being on your show, Phyllis, and good night to you and your whole listening audience worldwide.
Thank you for having and taking the time out to be here on Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. So can you give us a little background about yourself?
Well, I'm 65 years old right now, or young,
Yes.
and at present, I have converted an events facility into a home for the elderly.
Right. And what caused you to do that? Because I know you located in Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as you get older in life and the road you travel gives you a lot of experiences and a better appreciation for life, the opportunities that were afforded to you along the way, and you have to pay homage to the people who worked hard to be able to give you those opportunities. And those people are the elderly,
Yes.
and we tend to forget them.
Yes, I'm not going
Yeah.
to tell you that. And I find now with today's children, um, the way how our parents brought us up, sacrifice and everything for us, I think the nowadays children we seeing now, putting them in a home, not going to look for them, and just forgetting them. So, this facility that you have, tell us a little bit about the background and what you offer.
Well, it's a holistic approach to dealing with wellness for the elderly. In that, in Trinidad, most of the elderly homes are situated in a residential house, which
Yes,
wasn't really built to facilitate a home for the elderly.
right.
However, my facility was an events facility. So
Mm-hmm.
we had a blank slate to design what we think going to be worthwhile for the elderly to enjoy.
Right.
Plus we situated on a 50-acre estate. Now, a lot of times people tend to forget one of the more important things in life, which is your mental health.
Yes.
Your mental health is, um, to have a good mental health, you need to be in a proper environment where you
Yes.
could de stress, right? So, by being on a 50-acre estate, you have the environment that could afford you that. So
Right.
apart from being able to give people safe and nutritious food for the body, we are able to give you safe and nutritious food for the body, the spirit, and the mind.
I think that's a good way of looking of it because I think most elderly home that I have seen back in Trinidad, they're in a cage,
Right,
and where they can't really interact. And I think depression steps in because here you have your parents, you're putting them in a home and then forgetting them. Sometimes they don't even go and visit them. So I think what you're doing, I commend you because we need to speak more about this. Especially, I think, again, as I say, the children of today from the children long ago are two different types of children we're dealing with. These children
right,
have no patience with us.
right,
And I find that too, we work so hard to provide for them, and then they just want to drop them off their home. But with your wellness facility now, they have the outdoors where they could enjoy the outdoor life in a sense. They could, picnic and, they
right.
have a lot of land to do different things instead of being in a
In a
environment
cage,
that they just cage up.
Right. Now, the thing is, a lot of people, they forced to put their parents or grandparents in a home. And because of the homes that are available, they kind of shame of what they had to do because
Right.
there was no better options available for them. So with this option I'm affording the general public, they would be proud to say, I'm going to put my mother in a home. It wouldn't be, our culture in Trinidad. If you tell somebody you're going and put your mother in a home, them going and look down at you with scorn. They're going to say, oh, you're ungrateful, your mother
Yes.
worked hard to mind you, and this is
Yes.
what you're going to do to her.
Yes.
But sometimes when you get older, if you want to be real, a home might be the better place for the elderly. Because
Yes.
most of the times you leave them home by themselves, they have no companion,
Right.
nothing. Now, if you have them in a home that has the facilities, they could interact with other people. You do things for the elderly in the home to keep them active, to keep their mind active.
Right. And I think that too is important because I think with dementia, I think once the brain is not active, they tend to forget.
Right,
But I mean, when you have activities like maybe playing a little draft, maybe a little bingo, different things, it keep them thinking, you know.
right.
But I think when you leave them in a space by themselves, they tend to wither away. It's like you have a plant and you're not wetting that plant anymore to grow.
Right. The thing is, as you say, you're not wetting the plant. Sometimes they're wetting the plant, but they're not wetting it with what it really needs.
Right.
They might figure, well, my mother home, she's safe, she getting 3 square meals, so that is the care and attention that she need.
Right.
But they don't realize that she need to be outdoors, she need to be going out, you
Right.
know. So they're
Need to
not
be
wetting.
interacting.
Right, right. Now, with our home, one of the main focus, apart from providing proper care with love, is with dignity.
Right.
You see, a lot of times people tend to treat the old people not proper. They don't, they don't treat them with dignity.
No.
Like, for instance, the homes you have, the majority of homes that is, if you cook something home and you want to drop off some food for your loved one, you
Right.
just have to drop it and go
Right.
because they don't have the facility. Now, at our facility, we have a dining area where you could come now with something from home, sit with them and share a meal with them, bond with them. All right, so that's private and apart from the general dining area.
Right.
Then we have multiple picnic areas outdoors where you could come and celebrate a birthday or a special occasion with them.
Yeah.
So when you look at the space that we have, and sometimes you're calling, you don't realize where is your true calling in life.
Correct.
The creator put us down here for a specific reason.
Right.
And that reason is to leave the world a better place.
Correct.
Now, each one of us might have to contribute differently in leaving this earth a better place than we met it.
Right.
Now, I think that with the facility I have, it would be wasted if I don't do something like this with the facility.
So let
This
me ask
is
you
this is
something.
something for mankind.
Right. So what is the name of the facility?
The name of the facility is Nia Valley Sunset Haven. Now, a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, a couple of people chastise me for putting in the word sunset. A couple of
So
pastors,
it's
right?
near Valley Sunset what?
Haven,
Haven. Okay.
right. A couple of pastors told me I shouldn't put in sunset because when somebody die, they put sunrise as the day that they're born and sunset as the day that they
They
die.
departed. Yes.
But it's how you look at life, right? I don't look at death as the end of it. Death is
Right.
the progression of life.
You're sure right.
Because when you're born, you may not be able to turn over. You lie down on your back.
So
Then
the Nia
after
Valley is Niva or Ni. How you spell it?
NIA,
N-
NIA,
uh-huh.
and then VALLEY.
Okay. I type in. That's why I'm asking you. Go
Right.
ahead.
Yeah. So I lost my thought there.
Sorry. When you die, when you
Right.
die.
When
Yes.
you're born, you progress in life. In that, you start off lying down on your back, then you roll over, then you creep, then you walk, then you run, you go to kindergarten, you go to primary school. So everything is a progression of making of self-development, right?
Right.
One thing you are sure of in this life is to die, right?
Yes.
So if you're sure you're going to die, why shouldn't death be a progression of life and be
Correct.
something not to frowned upon?
Correct.
But we as human beings, we are selfish. The reason why we are selfish is because we don't treat people, our loved ones, properly during life. And when that death as we know it comes around, we start to live with regrets. Oh,
Right.
I should have do this for my mother. I should have do
Yes.
this, right?
Yeah.
And so they live in regret. So they don't want the person to go on to transcend into somewhere better
Correct.
because they're going on to somewhere better with bad memories of how you treated them.
Right.
But if you treat them proper, right, you will learn to accept that better.
I think so. You make a
Yeah,
very good point there, Mr. Holpoint.
yeah. So
Andy is saying if that is what the way God gave it to you, follow God and not man. Anthony is saying the thing with these situations, a child may want to take care of a loved one, but they don't have the background to deal with their love illness. So a home may have qualified people to do the right things to make them better, to help them out better. And I think that is so true because you will have the professionals at the facility
right,
to take care of them because again, most of the children now do have patience with the old people.
no, and it come like not just the old people. They said the worst thing to do is for a father to teach his child to drive a motor car
Mm-hmm.
because they lose their patience,
Right.
or for a boyfriend to teach his girlfriend to drive a motor
Exactly.
car. They
Yes.
lose their patience. So likewise, we now wouldn't have the patience and we wouldn't have the training to deal with our loved ones when they get older.
Right.
Now, at the facility, I'm developing what is called a yesteryear room, where
Yesterday.
have a yesteryear room,
Yes.
where we would have antiques from yesteryear. So we have gramophone, we have the long time heater that
Right.
you would put on the coal pot. So that will bring back memories to the residents here.
Yes.
We also have a bakery. So every day we're trying to bake something. Now, when you're baking a bread or a cake or something, the smell that you get throughout the facility, that would bring back memories to the elderly, and it's a
Yes.
nice feeling.
Yes.
So, you're doing all these little things that you're making them feel they're at home still
Yes.
in the right and in a better environment.
Environment.
You know, we got our first resident last week because we opened in April. One of the reasons we opened in April is because it's Earth Month,
Right. Yes.
right? And because it's an estate and we have so much greenery and trees and all of that, it was kind of fitting to open it in Earth Month.
I think that this is a very historic month for your opening. And yes, we're celebrating Earth Month. Andy is saying, when I heard my aunt was placed in a nursing home, I was devastated. Only when I spoke to my cousin, I understood, and I am in agreement with TJ, which is the above. Now, people think there is a stigma with putting them in a home. But I want people to know on this program that you have a facility, and this facility is how much acres and where is it situated?
Okay. It's situated in Princeton, which is on the outskirts of San Fernando,
Right.
right? It's 50 acres. And well, the facility itself, the building, is nest halfway into the compound.
Okay.
So when you're driving in the compound, you drive for about an eighth of a mile or more with no houses or anything.
Right.
So we don't have no outside influences to influence whatever activities that we try and to partake in up here.
Right. So it's like country life.
Right.
Good.
Well, and where we are, it's the correct mix of country and city. In that, the compound borders the Princeton Junior and Senior Secondary School.
Okay.
So we don't have no large housing population there.
Right.
Then it's 5 minutes away from a health center, which is a plus for us.
Very,
So,
very plus.
so any resident that come here, they could transfer if they was in a different health center in the country, they could transfer to our health center, which is 5 minutes away. The facility is also a totally self-sufficient facility in that we have a backup generator with a 8 seconds transfer time.
Mm-hmm.
And the generator powers the complete facility, right? So that could work a couple days.
Right.
It's a big industrial generator.
Right.
Then we have like 15,000 gallons of stored water,
Nice.
and we have 2 pumps. So even if WASA have a breakdown, we have enough water to last us at least a week and a half to 2 weeks. But as the population in the home grows, I would do a need assessment as to if we need more water
Right.
and increase the water storage.
Right.
Because in a facility like this, you can't have the elderly, you don't have water, they want a
Right.
shower, you
Right.
can't wash their clothes, lights go on, you have to run to light a candle. That is long time thing,
Yes. Yes.
You have to be modern. Then, well, we equipped with Wi-Fi, and
Mm-hmm.
now, well, even the elderly, they a little tech savvy, some of them.
Yes.
So they could FaceTime the loved ones,
Very nice.
So we're trying to encourage family bonding. You could come up here, we have a play park, so you could bring the person grandchildren, their nephew, their nieces, spend a Sunday afternoon with them,
Right.
and not forget them. Because all the elderlies are the ones who are responsible for the world being what it is today.
Correct.
If it wasn't for their hard work and sacrifice, we wouldn't be developing to where we are today. And we tend to forget that and take it for granted.
Andy is saying, may God bless you, Carl. I'll be praying for your endeavors. And I think this is so terrific because I think this is the first time I'm hearing in Trinidad and Tobago about a facility like this. Again, I have visited homes before with my friends whose parents are in homes, and it's like a little jail with all these beds, and you have all these burglar proofing, and poor old people, they're not getting out to get some air. You don't have space.
Okay. Like in the facility, we have different levels of accommodation. So the basic accommodation is 2 persons to a room.
Right.
The international standard for square footage per person is 80 square foot per person.
Mm-hmm.
So the person must have a 10 by 8 space for one person. So we have met all the international criteria in what we are doing here.
Right. So, Carl, let me ask you something. How you come to this vision? What give you this inspiration? Because you have to have the love of people, Or what nicked you? What got you to say, what, Trinidad needs something like this?
Well, it's a series of things.
Mm-hmm.
One, I had the events business, and with the downturn in the economy, it didn't make sense continuing it.
Right.
My daughter, my children, and them, some of my children in the States, none of them coming back Trinidad to carry on the events business.
Right.
Then with the home for the aged, I had an operation last year, eye surgery.
Yeah.
And in all bad things, you always have to look for a positive.
Right.
So I had a cataract surgery and privately done, and it was unsuccessful. So I'm almost blind in one eye.
Right.
So that was the genesis of making me rethink my life, where I'm at, how am I going forward with my life? What if this was worse? What if I had to end up in a home? What would happen to me?
Right.
So now when you start to think, what if I have to end up in a home way? And you start to weigh the options that are available. And you see that is nothing that you would like.
Right.
So I joke with my friends, I tell them I build in this home for me.
Right.
It's something that I would be proud to go and live
Live.
in.
Yeah.
If I wasn't the owner and somebody do a facility like this, I don't mind checking in.
Right.
So that was kind of the genesis of doing the home.
Okay.
And
So
you see, you had to
say,
have, huh?
Andy is saying here, have you thought about getting volunteers to cut costs through the schools and the ministry? And he's saying that is good. That vision you get was a
Well,
good vision.
right. Now, I do agree with Andy on one point there where he said to cut costs.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you take volunteer on in any project that you're doing, it costs you more if you're going to do it the proper way.
Right.
Years ago, the Ministry of Agriculture had a program called YAPA.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Youth Apprenticeships Program.
Right.
And I used to train apprentices. Some people would take apprentices to replace workers,
Right.
but that is not what the program was designed for.
Right.
The program was designed to train people. And if you have to train somebody, that is different to replacing a worker. So it's taken more out of you to train somebody. But because of the love for the industry and where you wanted to go to, you would take that sacrifice, bring in the young people, you train them the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, 2 government agencies have approached me, and I told them that there's no problem. So we're supposed to have the first meeting with one of them next month,
Okay.
where I'll be taking on trainees then. But the
Okay.
trainees wouldn't be replacement for
Right.
the workers. Sometimes you take,
They will be just trainees.
right, they would be observing. It's true you will
Training
give
and
them,
vetting. Yeah.
right, you will give them things to do, but what you're giving them to do is supervised.
Right.
Anything you're giving them to do is supervised.
Right. They're not going to make the call to do anything drastic.
Right,
Right. You will be the decision maker and everything.
right.
So let me ask you another question now. How much people this home could accommodate?
Well, depending on if we do double rooms, we have one of the accommodation is double rooms, right?
Right.
However, some people might
One
want,
single room.
right. So if
Right.
all the single rooms that we have booked up and we have to convert our double room into a single room, then the capacity would be, the minimum capacity could be about between 45 and 50 persons.
Okay, and that is a good number to handle. It's
Yeah,
nothing extravagant to say you will have 100 people, 200 people where you can,
deal
they
with it.
still
And then,
be
well,
there.
we have the space in the facility. Like we have different TV rooms. So we have one designated for sports and news. We
Right.
have a next one designated for movies. Then we have a next one, you have to request to use it. Because I know some of these elderly people, or not even elderly people, some of these ladies or even gents, they might be following a soap opera.
Right.
And every day, 2 o'clock, they want to watch the soap
Bold
opera.
and beautiful or whatever the case may be.
Right. So we have a TV now designated for that.
Right.
But you have to put in your order to
Special
get the TV.
request. Special
Right.
request.
However, the sports and news TV, that is one where that the priority is sports and news. However, if nobody is looking at sports or news, we could use it for something else.
I
But
think that's a great idea.
yeah.
So
Then what
what?
we're doing also,
Mm-hmm.
we're doing some physiotherapy sections in the home.
Okay.
Because of the size of the home and the corridors we have, the first resident we have is a recovering stroke person.
Right.
And up to today, well, he went to the physiotherapist.
Right.
And when I research and see what equipment they have at those facilities, I'm going to put in some of those equipment here.
Right.
So even if they at home here, they don't need to go to the physiotherapy center as often as they should. Or when they come back, they could do some light physiotherapy here.
Great idea. I think that's a great idea because you know what? You have people with disabilities, so you have wheelchair access and different
Right,
things like that, right?
right. Yeah, we have wheelchair access, we have everything.
Good. What again? What about like meal plans? Like if
Well, we have a
somebody's
dietitian,
diabetic, okay,
right? We
good.
have a dietitian on board. And during the screening process, we would the family would let us know what they eat, what they don't eat, but they have to come with a medical report.
Right.
If they don't come with a medical report, we have an in-house doctor
Right.
who would assess the resident and guide us accordingly as to how to deal with it, because how to deal with that resident, because all resident needs are different.
Yes.
So so we have a proper filing system. Now the way the facility is designed, we have different corridors,
Mm-hmm.
and all the corridors are color coded. So you
Okay.
have the red corridor, the green corridor, the purple corridor with numbers.
So what
So
that signifies?
all the residents would be wearing a band. So
Okay.
like if you live on the red corridor, you would have on a red band.
Okay.
Now that red band would have your name and your room number.
Okay.
In the medicine room now, when we dispensing medication on mornings and we go into the red corridor, we'd have red trays,
Mm,
red cups. So when whoever taking out the medication, you're kind of trying to reduce the likelihood of mixing up people's medication.
very good.
So you have to have a proper structure.
I like how you're thinking out the box, You sound very professional,
No,
you
well, I
know.
don't think out the box. I just think like there's no box.
But I mean, this is so great because knowing that your family is being taken care of, your loved one, and with what you offering right now, I think this is so magnificent. Because again, the way how I see they have facilities in Trinidad, there's nothing compared to what you creating right now. Okay, so
So,
and they have something here. He say, I have
uh,
some stored wheelchairs that are continuously donated if you are interested. So he's saying if you need some wheelchairs, he can assist you. I can send his number and you all could talk after.
okay, no problem.
All right,
I'd
Andy. So we'll
appreciate
get
that.
in touch with you. I'll send you his number and you all could talk about that. That should help you out a little bit.
Yeah, I could. Where Andy's from?
Andy is in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, well, I could always let him send it over to Lana, and
Yes,
she could arrange the shipment.
yes, and Lana could organize that. Okay, Andy, no problem. So I think yes. So we are talking about Nia Value Sunset Haven, and this is a home for the aged, situated in Princestown.
Well, the tagline is an oasis of tranquility for yesterday's youth.
Oasis of Tranquility.
For yesterday's youth. So
Okay,
we're not calling them old people again. Then there's a
right,
yesterday youth.
right. Yesterday. I think that is great. Andy saying I can help with some pro bono service when I come down from time to time. So
Yeah, that's no problem.
because Andy is a therapist, he's
Okay,
Dr. Andy Ansula.
okay. Well,
Ansola.
when next he come now, he visits Trinidad regularly.
Yes, Andy was an ex-cop in Trinidad, and now I always have him on my motivational because he does therapist work dealing with substance abuse and different things like that. Nicole is saying, love the idea of what you are doing. I pray it will be successful. Sherry is saying, as a mental health counselor, I believe you have a psychologist and a physiotherapist on board. Become my auntie was in a nursing home in Trinidad, Princestown, and they helped put her to her grave. So I guess, Sherry saying that her case, her auntie passed away.
Right.
So maybe because they didn't have all these things in the home to provide it, because I know once you put them in a home and they get sick, they go to the hospital. But at least you still have these people on call right
Yeah.
here in the facility, which is a plus, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Now,
So it's an oasis of tranquility for
yesterday's youth.
yesterday's youth. Yes, right. So let me ask you. So, have you ever thought of like having, you know how some in America here we have some of the old age come together and they play cards and they do
Yeah,
little things
well,
in the afternoon.
right. Well, we have activities for them. So we'll have, like, as you were saying, drafts. We are doing a miniature golf course,
Nice,
bean toss bag, bingo,
nice.
wheel of fortune. So we'll have bingo night and
Yes,
karaoke night and all
nice.
them kind of thing. You don't want to have it dreary then. You want them to be lively.
Yes. Yeah, and you want them to have a sense of belonging still.
What
I
I'm
think.
also doing, I'm building a bed like a hospital trolley.
Hmm.
So, like, the bedridden residents who stuck in the room, I wanted to be able to take them out of the room on this hospital trolley, bring them into the general TV room so that they could look at a movie with the other residents. So they have that human interaction. I
Right,
must be able to take them out in the yard,
right,
under the trees in the shade, where they would get breeze blowing on them.
right.
So they still feel like somebody. Because
Yeah,
when somebody is bedridden and they're in a room 24/7, that is all they see,
yeah, yeah,
Nobody going in there to sit down to them. They're not seeing sunlight or sunset. All they know is a electrical bulb. That is the only light that they know.
yes.
They're not seeing sunrise. They're not seeing sunset. And one of the reasons why we named the place Nia Valley Sunset Haven is because we have a beautiful sunset up here.
Okay,
When you're outside on the compound and you look at the sunset, it's real beautiful.
nice.
And
Sherry's asking if you have any church services going on. One, and two, Andy saying, have you ever thought of Zoom technology?
well, Zoom technology is here, but right now we haven't considered it, like, to do anything as yet. The only thing we do in Zoom it is like if we want to have a meeting with the family and they cannot come physically,
Right,
we, we,
okay. They could
right?
stay
And
in touch, like people
right,
away could call,
right,
Zoom call, and see
right.
them and talk to them and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
more FaceTime.
right. Yeah.
Now, a lot of hospitals and even homes, they have a scheduled visiting hour, right?
Yes, yes, they
What
do.
we what we have is a preferred visiting hour,
Preferred.
right? So now, if you cannot make it to the preferred visiting times, you just let us know before, and we would let you come off at that time,
Right.
because God forbid that our visiting hours are 9:30 to 11 and you want to come 8 o'clock because you're busy.
Or you're
And I, and
working or
I
something.
right, and I deny you that opportunity. And God forbid you were to die or the person in the home were to die. How would I live with myself knowing that I denied you that opportunity to come and visit?
Great idea. Nancy is saying, good night, great topic. I'm living and taking care of my mom. And there's a lot of people I know. My sister take care of my mother also. And my mother doesn't have a lot of activity like she used to. Actually she don't even go out anymore either. You know. Nancy saying flexible is the key because of different working hours, and she said that is very nice. And I think I want to commend you again because opening this facility, this one of a kind facility in Princestown, San Fernando, well, area, near Valley Sunset Haven. We want to make sure that people get the word out there. We want to be able to push it. So, if a child, because sometimes I know it can be hard with people living in America and your mom getting older. Sometimes they're so stubborn, they don't want the help, but they cannot do these things on their own. To put them in a home where you know they're comfortable. You could visit, they have a lot of space. And I mean, the technology, the kind of things that you have for this facility, I think it's very phenomenal.
I was recently asked the question, what is my target base geographically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer is I'm not targeting geographics. I'm targeting people's mindset.
Right.
So
That's
whether you live in England, America, Port of Spain, whatever, once you have the mindset where you care for the elderly and you want to put them in a proper facility, then coming to Princestown should not be a problem. I
Exactly.
would not be catering for just people in Princestown.
No.
That is thinking very myopic.
Right. Exactly. And he's saying he's also volunteering his ordained minister service because he is an ordained minister also. So
Right. Well,
Andy and you
uh-huh,
will have a lot to talk about because I,
right.
you
Well,
will get,
somebody had asked previously if we have in church service.
yes.
Yes, we would be having church service. Now, the way the facility is built, when we have in church services, it would be private
Okay.
because with religion, it's a
Yeah.
kind of touchy subject. So
Right.
we don't want to force one person's religion onto another person.
Right.
So we would have private spaces where if you want to go and worship, you could go there, and while the worship is going on, the other residents who may not believe in God or may not want to worship in that faith, they would not feel offended.
Correct.
You
That is
have to
thinking.
give you have to give everybody the respect.
I think so. And I think it's boundaries, and I think you're doing it in the right way because we have Hindu, we have Muslim, we have Christians, we have
Yeah.
Baptists, we have all different types of religion. So I think that's a great idea also.
Now we
Um,
also have our own vegetable garden
okay.
where we produce our vegetables. I also have a chicken coop with close to 100 hens. So we producing pasture raised eggs for the home.
Mm-hmm.
So we giving the residents the true farm to table experience. And
Yeah.
the ones who are interested in doing a little agriculture, they could go outside. We have grow boxes for them. They could water the plants, pull
Nice.
a little weed. You know,
Yeah.
it's up to them.
It is a
It's
home.
nothing
It's a
forced.
home. That is the new
Right,
home. So you
right,
want them to feel at home.
right.
I think that is good. Nancy saying, because Nancy's a nurse also, are your staff CPR certified?
Well, most of them are, not all, because some of the staff we would not need. Well, they should have all CPR certified, but like the cook and the cleaner, that
Yes.
is not a requirement for them.
Okay,
But
good.
the nurses aides, all of them would be certified. But
Okay,
like the groundsmen and all of them, because all of them make up the staff.
right.
And for the home to be a success, you cannot just credit the caregivers.
Right.
You have to credit the cleaners, you have to credit the
Yes.
groundsman, you
Yes.
have to credit everybody
So,
because there's a team effort.
yeah. So you have security and all of these things.
Yeah.
Okay. So Andy's asking me, Phyllis, how did you connect with Carl? Now my program is Each One Teach One, Mr. Andy. So Lana Logan reached out to me to speak to Carl. So, the connection, again, it is so wonderful because I think what you're doing, we need that. We need to hear about the old age. I think we need to hear about yesteryear or yesterday's youth because they tend to forget them. And I think that, we should always remember our grandparents, our parents, they wouldn't stay young forever. They wouldn't be in that same space that you would like them to be. They will tend to get forgetful. Those say they're annoying or they're nagging. We were children too, and they took care of us. So
Right.
now in our turn, we have to give it back to them.
We
That's how I think.
also doing a daycare. So just so you drop off your children to daycare, we're doing an elderly daycare also. So you could drop off your loved one for the day and pick them back up in the afternoon.
Right. Nancy saying all should be CPR certified because you never know who you would find a person down. Um,
Yeah.
Andy saying thank you, Lana. I love you. Cherry saying everything sounds great. What's your price range? And make sure and have cameras and
Yeah.
regular meeting, a JD background check of your employees. It's imperative. So this is what Sherry's saying. So first thing she's saying, what's the price range, and if you have cameras
Well,
to look.
in US dollars, you're looking at roughly 1,000 US. It starts at, or a little
1,000 US
about
a month.
yeah. or probably about, let me see, let me work it out, about 800 US minimum.
Okay.
But the price would vary depending on the level of care and the level of accommodation that you want.
And I think that is affordable. 800 US is affordable
Yeah.
for
Now the
all
thing
of
with,
this.
like with
Yeah.
the grounds person being CPR certified, that is all well and good, but the culture in Trinidad and where you're pulling workers from, some of these lower level workers, it's a culture you have to change. You- For that to happen, we would be bringing in like training people to train the staff in
Right.
different aspects of things that we would need for the home. So
Right.
initially, if I hire a groundsman, and he wouldn't be CPR certified,
Right.
but when we bring in a trainer to do updated training with the nurses aid,
Right.
the other workers now would be privy to that. They would be part of that. So
Very,
they would be getting trained also.
very good. Andy is saying the daycare is phenomenal. It is done at the community centers in the US. And I think that is good too because sometimes we need good, caring people to take care of our children. But coming back to what Sherry have asked you, cameras. Do you
Yeah,
have
we have cameras throughout the facilities and in the yard and everything.
Very good.
Now, what I do now, some of these caregivers, they might try to divert some of the things that are there for the residents.
Right.
They might try to take the food and what and what.
Right. Right. Right.
Human beings are some of them
Yes.
unscrupulous.
Right.
So what I do, I let all the residents know that this facility is their house. The groceries in the kitchen is their groceries.
Right.
And if anybody take their groceries, they're thieving from them.
Right.
And these older people, they would be looking out to
Right.
see. But we have cameras where we could, as much background check as you do,
Right.
it's human beings you're dealing with. Now, what I told my staff, anything you want, ask for it.
Right.
You will get it. And then I'm doing like little simple incentives for them. Because we producing a lot of eggs, I would give them eggs at a cost price then.
Right.
We bacon, they'll get breads at cost price. We
Right.
also have an exotic fruit orchard where we have about 40 something different variety of fruits.
Mm.
So all of that would be going back into the home.
Right.
The plans down the road is to do a retirement village.
Okay.
Like how you all have the trailer parks up there. But
Yeah.
just saying trailer park, so you'll get a quicker idea as to the concept.
Right.
So we'll use something like trailers and have them where we do assisted living. So
Okay.
people now could come here, they could be still driving and take one of those container
Sinners.
homes,
Right.
because now with the property tax being introduced in Trinidad, it's expensive now to pay house tax.
Right.
And if you just have an elderly person alone in a home,
Hmm.
but they're mobile, right?
Right.
You could come now and rent one of these retirement caravan, like,
Yes.
and they could rent out the house. And
Yeah.
then they would be in a community now with people their age
Age.
and
Yeah.
where we're doing activities for them.
Right.
Because with 50 acres, you have plenty space.
A lot
So
of space.
all those things could be done separately from here. It's married together, but it's far apart from each other, even though you're on one compound.
Right. And this asking if the staff is trained on restraint. Let me say, like you might have a, a elderly person going off, or sometimes how they may get, if they train in that aspect.
Yeah, some of them, not all,
Right.
because as we now start, the staff that on duty, they train for that.
Right.
But remember, at our admission process, when we screen in the residents, if we see that the level of care that that resident require, we
Mm-hmm.
don't have the trained personnel to deal with that, we would not take the resident.
Right. That's
Likewise, if we have the training for a resident and after the facility for, let's say, a year or how long, we realize now that they need more care than we could afford. That, we're not
Yeah.
capable of giving. We'll ask the relatives to find a next facility that could give them the level of care that they want, because everything cannot just be about dollars and cents.
Correct.
Because this business, customer service is totally different, because you're dealing with people's emotions
Yes.
and people loved ones.
Yes.
If you go in a store to buy something and the cashier watching you frowsy and stoops, you might get
Yeah.
offended, but
The
it's a
attitude one
whole,
time.
right, but it's a different level now. Somebody abusive to your loved one and you paying
Your
the
money.
home to see
Yeah.
about your loved one.
Yeah. Because we keep seeing it every day too. People record them and stuff, you know?
But one of the contributing factors to nurses' aides being abusive to residents is because they're underpaid. Now, a lot of times clients complain that they want a certain level of service. But
Right.
with a certain level of service, it comes with a cost.
Right.
So you cannot expect to pay for Morbi and get champagne.
Right. Right.
So
Exactly.
if you're paying for Morbi, you have to take the Morbi taste.
Right. Understood. Andy
So you
say,
have to have a balance.
yeah, you have to have a balance. Andy want to know where you're originally from in Trinidad.
Princess Town.
Born and bred Princess
Yeah,
Town.
the property that the facility is on was from my great grandparents.
Okay.
They were Chinese immigrants.
Okay.
You know.
Hardworking people.
Yeah, we have the property in the family since the early 1900s.
Oh, passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, but now I'm the only owner.
Okay. But what I want to ask you is how you doing? I know that your son passed away, and how you doing?
Well, when somebody passed, you could never really get over it, but you have to be strong, and it gives you a better appreciation for life.
Right.
And two things have happened in my life with concerning death. Now, I had a kind of colorful background, and I know that the Lord have forgiven me for whatever transgression I may have been involved with, right?
Right.
My mother passed away in my arms,
Hmm.
right? I gave my mother her last glass of water, gave her her last breakfast, and I was hugging her up, and she just died in my arms.
Right.
My son, 3 minutes before he was killed, we were talking and laughing and enjoying ourselves. So when I look at life, I think that I'm blessed
Yes.
because the Lord have granted me the opportunity to spend the last waking hours of two of the dearest persons to me,
Right.
my mom and my son. It's not as though, well, you hear your mother did or you hear your son did. I was there spending the last moments with them.
Them.
And
Right.
that is priceless.
Right.
And as I was saying before, it's how you look at life. Once you live life to the fullest and you appreciate people for who they are, you wouldn't have no regrets when somebody pass on. You will always miss them, yes, but what you would miss is not being able to create additional memories.
Right.
You shouldn't miss not creating memories with them. If you
Right.
understand what I mean.
I
You must
understand
have you
exactly
must
what you're
have
saying.
you must have some memories that you could hold on to. But what you miss is that these lovely memories you had, you just can't make anymore.
Right.
Rather than you don't have no good memories at all and you regret not having it.
I like the concept. I think and you think the same, you know, and I always say we here on borrowed time, each and every one of us, you know. So that's why when I created this program, it's all about each one teach one. Somebody's getting something from this message tonight that we speaking about, you know. If I could touch just one person, I did my job. And that's how I look at it. You know, I do it for the cause and not the applause.
Right.
You know,
And it's the same thing. Like the Lord put you down here for a purpose.
Yes.
And this might be your purpose.
Yes.
You
Because
know, he might put down somebody here to cross somebody across the road safely. And that person that was led across the road safely could probably father the next president of the United States or something. And
yes,
that was that person's purpose on earth, just
yes,
to do that.
yes. And Lana did say that today, she was like, Phyllis, I'm reaching out to you. I could talk to you. And I was like, yes, and then she told me, I said, that's a great topic and a great idea. You know what I mean? I wonder if you'll be willing to come on tonight because I say, a lot of people don't think about the age, and a lot of people go through the struggles. Many people are here say, oh, my mother's so miserable, or, mommy say the same thing over and over. When they get in that age, that once a man, twice a child, they will
Right.
tell the thing over and over, but you have to have the patience to say, okay, no problem. Sometimes they're trying to think back to how they were when they were young, but they're frustrated because they don't have that memory. So I think people need to be more patient with the elderly, because they too would reach in that state if
You
God
see,
permit it.
you see what I think needs to happen. People who don't want to put the elderly in a home where they could get professional care, they themselves supposed to go to psychologists
Right.
and deal with the psychologist. Let the psychologist show them how to deal with their parents as
Yes.
they age,
Yes.
because you're not trained. You just dealing with your parents on emotions. Now,
Yes.
if you go to a psychologist and you go a few sessions, they will tell you, well, it's your mother, this is how you have to deal with them, and they now could train you or
Right.
show you the way.
Yeah, it's true because I have another friend who he's struggling with his mother because she's set in her own ways and she don't want this and she don't want this. She don't want help and she don't want help. You know what I'm saying?
But if
So
you tell him to go and see a psychologist, he go want to know if he's a mad man.
yeah,
Nothing
because
wrong with me, but you
yeah,
need to go to these people so they will help you deal with the situation at hand.
yeah. Because some parents can be difficult. Let me face the fact, especially the West Indian parents. They're set in their own ways. They're
So,
diabetic, but they still want to eat some ice cream and cake. You know what I
so,
mean?
yeah, so for all the listeners who tuned in, we have a Facebook page, Near Valley Sunset Haven. So on Facebook, so they could like it and share it, and they'll be seeing updates as to what we're doing, because every day we try to post something, that whoever watching on the page could hopefully learn something.
Right. And so you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram?
Yeah, Nia Valley too
Okay.
on Instagram.
Okay. So they could get you on Facebook, Instagram. Again, for the viewers, it's Near Valley Sunset Haven.
Yeah,
It's the oasis of tranquility of yesterday's youth,
right.
and they are located in Princestown. You have a phone number? I
Yeah.
can put that in.
Well, it's 868
Uh-huh.
769
769
4343.
4343. Let me put that. And who they talking to you?
Yeah, Carl.
All right. Okay, hold on. 868 769 4343. Carl. Okay, putting that in the comments if anybody wants to think. I just check it out on Facebook. Okay, Andy, just check it out on Facebook. Like the page, guys. Like the page, share up the page. Near Valley Sunset Haven, Oasis of Tranquility of Yesterday's Youth. Facebook, he's on Instagram. Again, if you have a family member or you know someone who's looking for a nice home for the age, just call Carl. He'll give you all the information that you need. It's located again in Princestown. Carl, I have a little trivia here for you. On,
Hold on.
on Motivational Monday, we have a trivia called Ditch It or Keep It. All right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to ask you a few so you can ditch it or you'll keep it, right?
All right.
So, bus up shot or roti?
Bus up shot.
What's up, shot? Okay. Ginger beer or sorrel?
Sorrel.
Okay. Bacon shark or bacon saltfish?
Bacon saltfish.
Okay. Pilau, chicken pilau or beef pilau?
Chicken pilau.
Okay. Sorrel or puncher creme or rum punch?
I don't really drink either, but
Okay. All right. So you
I would ditch the boat.
okay, ditch the boat. That's fine. Tobago or Manzanilla?
Tobago.
All right. Miami or New York?
Miami.
All right. Lexus or Volvo?
Lexus.
Okay. River lime or beach lime?
River lime.
Indoor or outdoors?
Outdoors.
I know you're that outdoor fever. Okay. And the last one is barren or crazy?
Baron.
Okay. So we get to know a little bit about you. Carl, I want to say thank you for hanging with us on Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. Anytime you're ready to come back on my program, I'm here. Andy saying, is he on WhatsApp? Yes, yes, Andy. I'll send his information for you. No problem. Um, in closing, what would you want to say something before we close off?
Well, it was a pleasure finally getting to be on your program because Lana spoke highly of you from
Thank you.
before today's interaction.
Yes.
And it was indeed a pleasure. And even though I haven't met Andy and the other persons, I'm thankful that they were able to join us and offer whatever assistance, to help me see my vision come
Right.
to fruition. And
Yes.
I hope that this interaction tonight is just the beginning of better things to come.
I think so too.
And, you know, and
Yes.
anytime any one of them in Trinidad, they could feel free to call and come up and picnic with the elderly.
Yes. And I'll be there later on this month. I'll call you when I get there. I'm coming for a couple of days so we could meet face to face
Right. No problem.
in South San Fernando, Coquille Village to be.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
This program will be also on YouTube. I'm going to forward you so you can share your
Okay.
YouTube, this interview that we have in. And again, anytime you're ready to come back, you're welcome anytime. Just hit me up. You have my phone number. We are family
Right.
now,
Right.
right? So he's no stranger.
Okay.
All
Well, good
right.
night to all your listeners worldwide, and we are one family now, as you say, and we will always be in touch.
Yes. So Carl, once again, have a blessed and wonderful and safe week. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, guys, so
Bye.
that there you have it. You heard from Carl. You heard what he have to offer. Please go to his YouTube page, his Facebook page and Instagram, Nia Valley Sunset Haven. It's an oasis of tranquility of yesterday's youth. Any information you need, guys, just hit me up,
You talk
inbox
as
me,
though you and
and we
Cheryl were
will get
talking like you
in
don't have a
contact.
listening audience, like
Have
you're
a
in a
great day,
personal
guys.
argument and discussion with you.